What's going on, everybody? It's your Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri, and we are back with another First Encounters video. This one is a little bit different than the ones I've done in the past. Normally, I do a video on my first encounters with a certain player in the NFL, the kind of matchup that I have with them, the experience. You know, I take you guys through the whole thing as far as it goes with that. But this one is a little bit different. This one I wanted to bring to you guys was more of a first encounters with the entire experience as a professional athlete. So I'm going to take you back to 2007, my rookie year, my first full padded practice as a professional football player with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just kind of set the stage for you guys. It was really unique when I got to Jacksonville. So the thing about Jacksonville was that our practices weren't necessarily set up in the typical traditional way you would think practices were set up. But in Jacksonville, because of the extreme heat, because of the extreme humidity, the practice fields being surrounded by the St. Johns River, in Jacksonville, we actually didn't start our practices until 7 o'clock at night. So nighttime practices were the norm for us. And for me as a rookie, that was kind of a shock to the system because you kind of expect to be done with practice and done with all those things around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And here we are just starting our practice at 7 p.m. And with the Jaguars, every day of training camp, every day of OTAs was a brew baker. It was absurdly hot on a regular basis. So being hydrated, keeping your fluids going was always a huge priority. It was something that we always talked about on and off the field. But this first full padded practice in Jacksonville, I'll never forget it, mainly because of the way things played out for me in particular. So we get out to practice, and of course it is blazing hot. This is the first time I've had pads on, have my helmet on, shoulder pads on, pants on, all taped up, all ready to go. And, I'm just thinking to myself the whole time, wow, it is hot out here. It's humid. Like, I'm soaked and we haven't even started stretching yet. It was a new experience for me. Yeah. But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, how healthy could this possibly be? We went through our stretch. We were about halfway through individual, and the periods are extended in training camp. So normally during the regular season, individual period maybe 15 minutes. But during training camp, the individual period is 30 minutes. And the individual period is the period where you're working only with your position coach. So you'll have guys who, you'll have the offensive line on one part of the field. You'll have the defensive line on another part. Everybody's spread out doing their own thing for the first half hour of practice. And, through this whole time, I'm sweating. I'm tired. I'm like short of breath, and I'm taking a knee after every individual drill that we do because it's a shock to my system. I don't know how to handle it. And offensive line coach, Andy Heck, he gives me a look and he's like, "Rook, stand up, Rook. No kneeling out here, stand up." So trying to keep my composure, trying to keep myself in line. And, I'm going through the drills. Now from individual, we then go to kind of a combo drill with the defensive line. So, this is where I'm for the first time in my career, I'm going up against guys like John Henderson, Marcus Stroud. These guys are longtime Jaguar stars that I'd heard about before I ever got to Jacksonville. And, it was hard. I'm not going to lie. It was so hard, in fact, that I had to take a rep off because I was so tired. It was so hot. It was 7 p.m. Evening time was upon us, and it was still just unbelievably humid and hot in Jacksonville. But the thing about this practice is that it would soon be over for me. Because as we got to our first team drill, which is 9-on-7, I started to catch cramps in my hamstrings after my first 3 or 4 plays in 9-on-7. Now, the thing about that is, in Jacksonville, that doesn't really get you out of practice or anything. But it's kind of a sign that you need to slow things down. So for me, I tried to kind of manage the discomfort because my calves were starting to cramp. My hamstrings were cramping. And I go in for my second set of plays in our 9-on-7 period. And as I hit the defensive lineman I'm going against, my arms lock up at 90 degrees. My triceps go into cramps. My forearms go into cramps. My quads start to cramp. And I just kind of crumpled to the ground and, just kind of laid there for a moment, waiting on the pain to subside. So it kind of, let off, and my arms were able to kind of release after that. And one of the team trainers came over to me, and he said, "Hey, let's go take you over into the shaded area, into our cool zone," is what we called it. So he took me to the cool zone. I'm sitting in there, and I'm just kind of waiting it out. They're telling me just to take fluids and to wait. If we can get you back into practice, we'll get you back into practice. So from there, as I'm sitting, cramping up, trying to kind of keep myself, keep my body arranged in a position where it doesn't just completely go into a body lock, I see another rookie guy get brought over, and this guy is almost getting carried by his arms, and he's going into a full body cramp. So they have him on the ground in the cool zone, trying to, let his body, stretch him out a little bit and let his body kind of stop convulsing because of the heat. And this is where I thought I might be feeling a little bit better. And I tried to stand up. I stood up, and my entire core of my body locked into a cramp. So here I am watching this guy on the ground catching a body cramp. And I'm thinking, all right, it might be good. I've drank some Gatorade, drank some water for a while. I'm gonna get up and see if I can, kind of stretch my legs and see if my hamstrings feel better, if my calves are ready to get back to it. And no, as soon as I stood up, full body cramp. First day of practice with the open practice to the crowd, to the fans. So you have fans in the stands, watching everything that's going on. And here you have one of the draft picks, me, who collapses to the ground in a full body cramp. And they have to come and pick me up in a golf cart, put me in the back of the golf cart, and drive me back through the crowd to the pathway back to the locker room. And that was probably one of the most embarrassing moments as a player in my rookie year that I had, just because I'm laid up in this golf cart with my fingers stuck like this, with my legs like just ready to explode. My core, my stomach, everything is just locked. I feel like I'm just completely just locked in place, and it hurts. I'm looking up as I'm laying down in the golf cart, and I'm seeing fans' faces looking over like, who is that? Who is that? And you're hearing people talking in the crowd, and everybody kind of gives that little look as you go by. And that look, it's like, the hell happened to him? Everybody gives that kind of look. And, that can be a little bit embarrassing for a young rookie who's just coming on the team trying to prove himself. So I end up having to go back into the locker room. They hook me up to IVs, get me back hydrated. And, it took me probably a few hours to really see the cramps go away. But that was the thing that cut my first practice short. I made it about 45 minutes into the practice, about 45, 50 minutes into the practice before I got carted off. And the practice usually runs about 2.5 hours. So, Uche didn't last very long. My first practice in the NFL, I ended up getting carted off the field with a full body cramp. So great story to tell, experience that I'll never forget. And it's a funny story that I always tell people when they ask me about what it's like to be out there as a player. It's great on Sundays, but everything in between that is rough and tough, as you can see. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Another First Encounters video. This one not as long as the ones I've done necessarily in the past, but I thought it was a good story to get out there because this was one of those kind of really untold stories of my life as a player, my first experiences on the field. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.